Very disturbing story. Bounty hunters, in my opinion, murder a man. We have the video, here it is.
That's wild right there.
Okay.
You finna black him in.
At the result.
Man.
They jump out.
I just immediately started shooting, bro.
Okay. They kill him. They kill him. He had no time to respond. He had no idea who was chasing him. He had no idea who was jumping out of their vehicles in plain clothes. He didn't know any of this. All right, they kill him. So this happened in Houston. A group of bounty hunters gunned down and killed a black man during a botched warrant raid. Despite this, the bounty hunters have not been arrested for his death. I got some information on the company that these bounty hunters are connected to. The bounty hunters claim they announced themselves, and it was the suspect who fired first, but surveillance videos show not the case. All right, let's put up a picture of the man they killed. The man that was killed was 31-year-old Walter Hutchins, who leaves behind a newborn baby. Now remember, these are not cops. These are bounty hunters. The bounty is the money. These are money hunters. This man is dead because they wanted money. That's why he's dead, because our justice system allows for this kind of foolishness. What they were supposed to do is directly identify this is the person in the warrant, and they could have called law enforcement if they believed that this would have been an issue with apprehending him. Or they were supposed to identify themselves in a way that absolutely makes no one doubt who they are. They didn't do either because they wanted the money. Civil rights and personal injury attorneys Ben Crump and Bob Hilliard questioned the intentions of the bounty hunter, whether or not the hunters would have received incentive even if Hutchins was killed. Here's the quote. They sat there for 6 hours. Remember, the bounty hunters sat there for 6 hours instead of calling the Houston Police Department and inviting them to arrest Walter. That's because their bounty was contingent during the arrest, during the retention. What's going to be interesting to find out is, does the bounty care whether you bring them in dead or alive? Christopher Powell, a private investigator who has spent more than a decade tracking and taking down fugitives, had this to say. I make sure we are properly identifiable, Powell said. We have badges, we have our vest, they have patches on them that show what we are. The area they're in is 5th Ward, and obviously it's late at night. Just running up on someone in plain clothes, they don't know what's going on. They don't know if you're gang affiliated, if you're doing a robbery, if you're about to steal their car. That is correct, Mr. Powell, okay? In terms of charges against the bounty hunters, Houston police said the investigation into Hutchins' death is still ongoing, and that findings of the investigation will be presented to the DA's office, which will decide what, if any, charges the bounty hunters will face. Now that's already a cop-out, no pun intended, because Houston PD, they have the authority, the jurisdiction to arrest the bounty hunters directly. They are already telling you, no matter what they find in their investigation, they are not going to affect the arrest. They're not going to do it. Even if they find probable cause to arrest, they're going to simply hand that information over to the DA's office for them to make the decision. This is why people don't like the police. A reliable source told Fox 26 News that 2 bounty hunters involved work for a company called Fearless Bail Bonds. Put them up. Give them some business. Fox 26 News gave them a call, but they chose not to comment. So I'm sure they're gonna get more calls. Now the phone number is 713-862-8888. They are located at 4402 North Main Street, Suite B, Houston, Texas 77079. Now, every time I do this, all right, I get a group of pro law enforcement people. They call me the N-word. They threaten my life. I'm scared of none of them. They're cowards. They got keyboard courage. They won't do a damn thing. The issue of life, humanity, has to be protected by the culture. We are involved in that culture, and we will protect policies and promote policies that protect life. Mr. Bain, thoughts on this case?
Earlier in the show, brother, you talked about the need for a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
And I think that's still relevant here. These are the remnants, the particles that have continued to travel through time from chattel slavery, in which property supersedes person. So that's what we're seeing in a super capitalistic material society where human life, of course there are no charges gonna be put against it, of course, because they did the job of law enforcement. These were the original slave catchers. This was the original position, protect property. So until there's a radical, again, and I say revolutionary shift in the way that we approach safety, we are gonna see more, unfortunately, more of this and unnecessary lives lost. They did not, in what you read, they did not call the police. They waited, and then they murdered someone.